Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finals of the 1v1 AirMech Champion Status Tournament, brought to you live right here by OPTVLive. I am Steve, and I can't wait to see how it's all going to go down, folks. That is right, this entire tournament, this entire night, and it all comes down to this best of 3 series. Who will take it all? Who will be crowned champion status? And who is going to just come up one game short? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to find out right now. It is Wreckz in the upper corner, in the red, in the helix, with Lexi Helix, going up against Dissonant in the bottom, in the blue, in the Neo Lilith. Should prove to be quite interesting, folks. We are on Duel. Duel is the first map of this best of 3 series, and for any of you that know Wreckz, which most of you should at this point, Duel is one of Wrex's biggest favorite maps. Dissonant denied the kill by the soldier. Creeps too strong. Hashtag need nerf now. Poor Dissonant. Should have gotten it. It's a trap. It's a tarp. It's not even a trap. It's a tarp. Man, so close to getting credit for that kill. Missing out. Dissonant using the slight longer range of the Dillos to outshoot the Goliaths, taking it out, hoping to open up a path. Meanwhile, Wreckz going full balls to the wall for this middle outpost. Wreckz loves this middle outpost. He typically always focuses on it. You know that he does. Be ready for it, but a great strategy coming out. Preparing for the potential of Dissonant, now that he's clearing out those Goliaths, to come on a unique path, come down through here and down this way. He is setting up those stasis mines to hopefully catch Dissonant off guard and unprepared. If he does, it could turn out to be very, very interesting. Meanwhile, Dissonant with the secret buildup. This is OP as hell, folks. He brings out the boxer with the creeps. Now, one creep decides to get out and take a stroll. Dissonant needs that creep back. He brings it back. It now comes over to the outpost. Dissonant trying to neutralize it out. Wreckz yet to respond. The outpost is neutral. The rest of the creeps come out. They're going for a walk in the wrong direction, too. Apparently, the creeps just want to go for a stroll. Dissonant picks them up, brings them back. He gets control of the close outpost. This could catch Wreckz completely off guard. Wreckz quickly responding, deploying 5 Geminis in defense of his main fortress. Dissonant queuing up the rollers, getting ready to try to push out. Can he catch Wreckz off guard? He needed to have more units ready to be deployed. With this extra time, it gives Wreckz the time that he needs to react and respond. Great strategy. Just not necessarily working out the best that it potentially could be. Roller dropping down, heavy mines going down. Most of Dissonant forces still being focused on the back. The most unique V path I've ever seen. He cancels it out. Let's see, where is he going with this path? He is going right here and then straight down to his base. Meanwhile, Wreckz rolling through with the ratchets. The second they hit the mines, it takes out the activation sequence. The mines completely useless. Dissonant dropping in the rollers, but he's now got all of these Geminis rolling towards his base. He's trying to deploy all of his defenses as quickly as he can. But when you've got only 6 Dillos and you got this many Geminis coming in, you could be in trouble. However, Wreckz decides to detour those Geminis last second. He wants this close outpost, and there's enough Geminis in the mix to do it. All of Dissonant's units diverted to base defense. He now uses the custom V path to pull out the tanks. But the tanks, they do not go on the path that he wants. They go on the alternate. No, they're not on any path. They're just going. Wait, no. Now they've hit the point that they want to, and they're coming back. So apparently they needed to go all the way up there before they decide to come back. They now get in, but unfortunately Wreckz does take out Dissonant. Dissonant not here to support the tanks when he needed them to be here. They do not get here. Little bit of a derpy on the AI pathing routines there. Did not go the way Dissonant planned at all. Unfortunately, the 2 paths seem to somehow slightly overlay each other. Threw Dissonant off completely. Not the way that he wanted. He does almost get the middle outpost. He doesn't even get that much. Poor Dissonant just can't get a hold of anywhere. He needs to just try to take advantage of that upper left power station that he grabbed earlier in the game and just see what he can do with it before it's too late. Right now, Wreckz is at the front door. Wreckz is denying that middle power station. There's no defenses at that factory. Wreckz is about to get virtually full map control. Dissonant still trying to find a way into this, using that roll to his advantage. Helix missiles gonna force him out, make him have to retreat back. Trying to get extra Dillos out in defense here because he knows that it's coming, and when it comes, it's going to hurt like hell. But it does cost him a roller in the process. Dissonant now 4.5 minutes into the game, but Wreckz grabs the credit box before Dissonant can grab it. Everything is going Wreckz's way. Nothing is going the way Dissonant wants. Wreckz even sets up the stasis mines. That can massively make it bad for his Dillos to come through now, because once those Dillos hit the stasis mines, those Geminis will chew through them like they're just an hors d'oeuvre. They won't even provide anything. Dissonant somehow has to get rid of those stasis mines or come up with the most unique V-pathing ever. And that's exactly what he's going to do, but he's not going to push onto the base. He's going down for this factory instead. And these guys are playing their hearts out right now. So he's going to take out his units. He's going to roll out part of them, head down towards this outpost. Unique V-pathing, lots of sharp angles and turns, make it a little difficult for these tanks as they kind of slam on the brakes there, as they kind of just... yeah. That's a massive brake slam. He drops down the creeps. The creeps almost die. He does lose one. He keeps the other one barely alive when the units get in front. But now Wreckz has lost that factory. But in the process, it's turning into a base trade. Wreckz is going to take back this power station, cutting off these units from their supply source, and can easily then be picked off one by one. Can Dissonant get that power station back and do something before Wreckz pushes out with all of his might? 72 upkeep for Wreckz, 46 for Dissonant, 26 Dillos out on the battlefield for Dissonant, 30 Geminis out on the battlefield for Wreckz. This is insane, folks. Dissonant trying to heal up over that factory, but there is no energy for him to heal up over. Wreckz using the power of the Helix, launching off the missiles. Dissonant had no safe place, high or low. He had no cloak capabilities. He has not leveled up on those, and because of that, he could not get away. That is a moment we need to cloak. Unfortunately, Dissonant, huge Neo player, but if you have watched and studied him, more times than not, he does not use the cloak. He does not upgrade it. He does not even enable the ability. Sometimes it works out to his advantage, but I think more times than not it actually works against him, especially with the recent changes where the cloak is much more efficient than it used to be, and you're not losing power as you're shot while you're cloaked. I think he just got used to just not really using cloak in the first place, and he doesn't think of it, but he will get this power station back. All that time, Wreckz was never able to do it. Now, can Dissonant use a custom V-path, maybe bring the tanks out from here, loop through here, bring them across here, and then up here, thereby bypassing all of those stasis mines and coming in at the flanking angle to those tanks, giving them the potential best chances of survival. It all depends. And folks, as you know, it is much different when we're sitting here watching and we can analyze and look at it versus these players that are playing in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment, trying to figure out every potential area of opportunity and attack all at once. It can be really overwhelming for these players. Nerves can kick in. Stress can kick in when something doesn't go your way. And something that you might be able to sit there and look at easily and say, oh, he should have done this or he could have done that or something, becomes something that is completely missed because you just don't have the time to sit and analyze and get full views of the battlefield the way that we can. Dissonant pushing out, the tanks going around the side. Potentially that's the better area of attack. Coming in from a flanking angle with the Stasis Blast coming out, it causes most of the tanks to not be able to shoot and respond. Dissonant perfect uses of the Stasis Blast, and he's taking away Wreckz's close outpost and everything that he had there. Fantastic comeback from Dissonant, but it did cost him his entire base defense in the process. It could be good for him. It could be disastrous for him. It all depends on how things go for him. He's going to continue to push out. He's going to leave some tanks behind. Or not. He's going to go out with most of them. A few going over here. That is suicide. Those tanks have no chance at all going into that many Geminis. But most of the tanks going into the middle outpost. That is much better. Much less heavily defended there. Dissonant suddenly regaining a lot of the map control. Some of the other tanks going in towards that heavy defender. He needs to stay away from that factory. That will cost him heavy losses. There's too much in defense right now for just a few stray Dillos to roll in there. But he has succeeded, at least for the time being, taking over this outpost. But it is extremely lightly defended and a very tempting target. And he has left his base completely vulnerable in the process. However, sometimes it is the more aggressive strategy that can win out, especially when Wreckz has deployed all of his base defenses from his fortress. Can Dissonant push out before these tanks come in? He needs to see these tanks coming in. He needs to do something about it right now. Don't fight them. Get your tanks out of there. There's too much coming in. It's too many Geminis. Don't sacrifice. Push out. It's too late. The outpost goes neutral. Dissonant being flanked in from both ends at the same time, and every ground that he had taken away from him. Had he launched before those tanks got there, they could have gone straight up to this completely undefended fortress. They wouldn't have destroyed it, but it would have done more than if he just by him keeping them right here. By keeping them here, they just became food. Wreckz suffered virtually no losses. 60 upkeep to essentially 20. 3-to-1 upkeep advantage in favor of Wreckz. And Wreckz now is just on mop-up duty. He has the forces. He knows he has the forces. Dissonant needs to be careful. There's just so much firepower coming in from those Geminis. But he is kind of coming out on top, but keep in mind that's not the full bulk of his force. That's only like the first wave that's coming through. The rest of the wave heading straight for the base. And while Dissonant is so focused on trying to stop this outpost push and deploying everything that he had to save the outpost, Wreckz's main forces were rolling in, but Wreckz stops them just short of the base. Dissonant needs to save that roller. That roller is crucial. It cost him a lot of money, a lot of time to build. Losing it will just be a complete waste, but Dissonant feeling too much pressure. He is throwing up the GG. It maybe isn't fully the GG yet. If he would have saved that roller and had defender's advantage and took out enough of Wreckz's units before it was too late, it is only like a 2-to-1 advantage right now in favor of Wreckz. Dissonant still, though, he's not going to give up. He is still trying to build and deploy the units. He is trying to get them in the most ideal spots. Moneymakers go down, no doubt whatsoever. Wreckz has now integrated 4 Seekers into that push, making it just that much harder for Dissonant to respond. Using the sacrificial Gemini to distract all the Dillo tanks. With that sacrificial distraction, that makes the push 100 times more effective. And that is a strategy, folks, that the pros have learned, that if you haven't learned it yet, you desperately need to learn it. However, Dissonant may still survive this by the fact that Wreckz died. It's giving Dissonant the chance to potentially survive this. He is taking damage, but considering how much is devoted to this, almost all of Wreckz's entire force is devoted to this. Dissonant is coming out in a strong position. He's mitigated a lot of the damage. He only took about maybe 35% of the base damage, considering how much was pushed in. That is a great turnout for Dissonant. They're almost at a complete 1-to-1 upkeep. Can Dissonant completely turn this around and come back in the game and win it? That is fantastic, folks, and that is why even when it looks like it's hopeless, and even if you throw up the GG, you still keep fighting, because you never know. Dissonant is rolling and strong. Dissonant with an upkeep advantage right now. He neutralizes at the outpost. Wreckz has no place to heal up or anything. Wreckz is losing everything. Dissonant completely obliterates everything. Wreckz down to 12 upkeep. Dissonant at 23. 2-to-1 advantage upkeep now in favor of Dissonant. Dissonant, can he turn this around? He is desperately in a bad position as far as map control goes. But if he can find the opportunities for windows, if he can stay alive, he needs to not die. And if he can keep his Dillos alive against Geminis, which is a very tall order, he still could potentially find his way back into this. Middle outpost completely neutralized. Wreckz with a total of 8 Geminis back on the battlefield. He is rebuilding those Geminis rather quickly. Dissonant's fortress much more vulnerable now, as he had to use his entire bulk of his forces to stop the push and then roll out a little bit. 22 to 23 upkeep. Guys, it is completely... Man! Did any of you think, with how bad it looked, with such a significant upkeep advantage in favor of Wreckz, did any of you believe that Dissonant was not only going to be able to stop that, but come back into it? He's pushing the Dillos out, but he's pushing them in without mech support. Without mech support, there's way too many Geminis that are here. Dissonant throws it. Dissonant completely throws it. No mech support, no stasis blast, no throwing one Dillo into the middle as a sacrificial lamb. Dissonant completely throws away all the advantage that he had, and is now suddenly at a 2-to-1 upkeep disadvantage against Wreckz. Wreckz now can fight back into this game. The Dillo push needed the rollers, it needed the mech support, and it needed a sacrificial Dillo thrown into the middle of the rest of them, and then the stasis blast. Now what you're doing, he needed to do it at that moment. Again, folks, as we say though, as we're watching, it's much easier for us to analyze and see small mistakes that happen versus these players in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment. Wreckz now at a 2-to-1 upkeep advantage, 42 to 23. Dissonant going from having just complete... Unfortunately, that was a complete throw. And now Wreckz kills Dissonant when he's almost over the fortress. Generators going out online. Right now, Wreckz does not need the generators at all. Dissonant laughing it up, saying almost. Wreckz deploying 3 Geminis down. There is a few Dillos. Rollers moving in. 1 Gemini goes down. A little bit more base damage done. Dissonant back in the game now. But there is all of these Geminis right here at his front doorstep. And not much that he can do. Can he survive a full second push? Dissonant getting the kill against Wreckz now. Can Dissonant use this opportunity to turn this around, find an area of opportunity? This power station looks pretty tempting. So does that factory. The only real true spot of any threat whatsoever is this lower power station right here with all these Geminis sitting here. Wreckz with 15 Geminis, 5 more in the build queue. Everything pretty much devoted to that one outpost. Dissonant needs to be careful. If he throws again with a second wave, it will cost him the game. But if he can hold one more time, he could win it all. Regrettably, Dissonant has no artillery whatsoever. Right now, I bet you he is wishing that he had artillery. It would be hard for him to set up an artillery line without it getting sniped out. But if he could have set up an artillery line, they could have been working on withering out these units, taking them out, and maybe getting some sort of control. Again, it's heavily dependent on Wreckz not noticing the artillery, which that's a tall order, folks. Wreckz has huge awareness. Great scouting ability. Does Dissonant get out? He barely gets out. Wreckz does not get the shot down on him. Dissonant going to once again deploy his tanks. He puts them out on T, but that power station over there is much closer. Those tanks are going out to that power station instead. Actually, that is where he wants them to go. He's going into the more heavily defended outpost. This may not be the best decision for him to make, but he's going to give it a try. But there's just too many Geminis here. There's no way those Dillos are going to be able to handle this. And that will be all of his units. All he succeeds in doing is temporarily neutralizing and taking over this outpost. However, because he used boxers and level 4 creeps, it at least gives him a fighting chance. I still don't know if it's going to be enough, and even if it is, it's everything that he has to do this, which is still going to leave him at a significant disadvantage. But still, amazing use of the boxers when those level 4 creeps are ready. Do we see a new meta forming? of boxers, combining with level 4 creeps, and then deploying a ton of them at once, so that way you get like all 20 creeps, all at once, all level 4, all blasting their missiles, all at the same time. But as I said, it was a costly push. It was everything Dissonant had. His base virtually undefended. He gets 5 Dillos out on the battlefield, but there's way too many Geminis coming in here. If Dissonant does not support his tanks, this will obliterate the Dillos. Dissonant nowhere to be found. Wreckz using sacrificial units to distract the Dillos, and this time it will be too much. And game 1 will be going to Wreckz after an amazing game. What looked like was in the bag. Unbelievable comeback in the way of Dissonant. Dissonant gets one last kill in there for good measure, but there's just too much this time and not enough support. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be Wreckz with an amazing game 1 in this best of 3 series. Can Dissonant come back from this and secure the win in game 2, pushing this onto a full 3-game series? Or is Wreckz going to sweep it 2-0? Folks, there is only one way to find out, and that is to not go anywhere. Do not change that channel. Do not go see another stream. Stay right here. Game 2, Dissonant versus Wreckz finals are coming up right now.